One thing, waiters may not be able to read, but they can count.
Oh, for sure. we know what it's supposed to be all the time.
We know when we're getting screwed.
Yeah.
We're like, hey.
It's a little thin.
It's a little thin. A little light here. Wayne Brady going to have to smack a bitch? What's this?
What's this?
Hi. Welcome to the Modern Waiter Podcast. I'm Marlon Joseph, the Modern Waiter, where we discuss all things restaurant business. Learn something. Laugh at something. On today's episode, we talk the mechanics of tipping.
Ooh.
Who to tip, where to tip, what to tip. But first, the intro.
Tired of working deadbeat jobs for lame pay. I'm tired of getting fired and hired the same day. If you know the rules of the game, then you'll stay. And if you don't, then you'll be a pawn.
As usual, I'm joined by my good friend Danny Davila.
What's up, people?
It is impossible to set our biases aside
Oh,
when it comes to tipping.
yeah.
But we're going to do our best.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to take a little helicopter view of tipping. We're going to look at the who, what, when, where, why, and how.
I love it.
So let's start with, before we go into all of that, let's go into how.
How to tip?
Right? Basically, a math lesson. Nowadays, you have phones, so that's good. And you have a lot of the checks will tell you
What the percentages?
what the percentages are from 15.
18, 20, 25, 22.
Whatever.
They'll have whatever they have on it.
They'll have whatever they have on it, really.
Yeah.
Now, to do percentages, it's really, I don't want to say it's really easy. It depends on what your comfort level is with doing math in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, well, you're the math guy.
Yeah, okay.
As far as between the both of us, how do you calculate the tip?
Well, it's pretty easy.
Or
Like,
how do you calculate 10%, 15%, 20%?
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Like
So 10% is really simple. It's just your check and you move your decimal over.
that, for instance,
Like,
in
let's-
49.22.
49.22, your tip would be 4.92 at 10%.
Okay, so you move the decimal place over to the left.
Yes.
1.
Yep.
Okay.
For 20%, you're going to do the same thing, but you're just multiplying that number by 2. So once you move it, you multiply it by 2. So
For
so
instance?
49.22 would be
18.
I would just round up to make it 50 and then call it $10. Keep your math simple, but it would be 9.90 whatever.
Boom. So that's 20%.
Yes.
So if you wanted to do 15%, you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
So the 10% will be 492.
4.92 and then half of that.
Half of that would be
247 roughly.
246, 247. So then altogether that would be 2 and 4, 6,
Yep. And then you add your change up again, so it's like 7 and change.
7 and change.
Yeah.
So there you go. Like, that's not too intimidating.
No.
Move the decimal point over for 10%.
And always make your life easy though. Like I said, if it's something that close,
You can round up.
Round to 50.
Yeah.
Keep it easy. If you want to do 10%, it's $5. You want to do 15%, it's $7.50. You want to try to your best bet with just math in general is to keep it simple for yourself. Round to the first round up or down, however, but try to round up, usually, but not like crazy. Like don't go from 47 to 50,
That's an excellent point, because if you're making it simple, you're doing it in your head. If you want it to be precise, you could just grab a calculator. Everybody has phones and things like that. The phones have calculators. Boom. But if you want to be
you want to be
general,
simple. Yeah, simple and general. Just round it up.
Yeah.
And then once you're at that easy number, do something that everybody knows. Fives are really easy to deal with. Once you're at a whole number, it's really easy to deal with.
Once you're at a whole number,
It's really simple.
It's really easy
Really
to deal
simple.
with. So, like, one good thing about percentages, let's say you wanted to do 20% of 80.
16.
Yes, 20% of 80 is 16. Also, 80% of 20 is 16.
Oh, okay.
So the reverse is always true when it comes to percentages.
Yeah.
So you can look at it in a different way.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah. Now, that's the how, right? Now, let's go into the why.
I think we might have blew their mind real quick with that math.
It blows my mind because I'm more of a person that I know a certain way, but then it's challenging for me to communicate that way to someone else. One thing, waiters may not be able to read, but they can count.
Oh, for sure. we know what it's supposed to be all the time.
We know when we're getting screwed.
Yeah.
We're like, hey.
It's a little thin.
It's a
little thin.
A little light here. Wayne Brady gonna have to smack a bitch. What's this?
What's this?
Now, yes. Why? We went to the how. Now to the why. Why tip?
Why do we tip? You tip for service. You tip for. You don't tip for the ambiance. You tip for you're being served, so you should be tipping for service.
Okay. There's many reasons why to tip, because I tend to want to pay it forward in a lot of situations.
Absolutely.
Meaning, I consider myself fortunate. I consider myself fortunate to be able to, if I can't go out to eat, I just won't. And there's times when I make that decision.
Absolutely.
I make that decision because it's the full scale.
Yeah. If I'm going out, I know I have to tip. I know I have to do all these things. And sometimes you're right, that will prevent me from going out. Like, I know my money's a little tight. And I don't want to have to put that tightness on somebody else. So
Correct.
I'd rather just cook or take out something that's light.
Because paying it forward works both ways.
Yeah.
If you are tight and then you transfer that tightness onto someone else, that's paying it forward in a negative way.
Yeah.
Yes. I like to pay it forward in a positive way.
Absolutely. Like, keep your energy good.
Yes. So you tip for appreciation, especially when you mentioned you tip for service. Sometimes you don't get that much service and you still tip.
True.
Because it's an appreciation of, hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for working today. I appreciate all this stuff, because at the end of the day, there are times when you go somewhere and you can't be accommodated because they don't have
the means or
the service or the employees. If you can recognize that part of it,
True.
You can recognize the appreciation for someone. Yes, it's their job, but yeah, you have a job too, and you would like that pat on the back. Even if it's in the form of hey, I appreciate it. You don't necessarily get your salary doesn't rely on tips, but you still want that appreciation.
Yeah.
Especially in the position where someone's pay relies on the tip. That's when you do tip for those
Absolutely.
reasons. And it's very important to understand how people get paid. And if you don't understand, it's okay to ask.
Absolutely.
I think most people are very truthful when it comes to that. For instance, I get confused a lot of times when there's like a delivery charge, or there's a house charge, service charge, this fee, that fee.
Yeah.
And I ask,
Yeah.
who gets this fee?
Yeah, who does this go to?
Yeah, who does this go to? Because I don't want to screw the driver or the person,
No.
the pizza boy. So I ask, and they'll tell you, oh, I don't get any of it, or I get half of it, or I get some of it, and things like that. And then I can adjust it accordingly.
Yeah.
And then I could choose to either patronize that place or not if I'm in line with their policies or
Understanding
not.
is huge.
It's huge. And if I'm not going to screw them, if I feel that I'm getting screwed, I'm not going to screw that person. I'm just not going to go back again.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of unfair practices that some house owners do. They keep the tips or gratuities and things like that when it should really go to the workers.
Employees, yeah.
So that to me is why you tip. You tip for service. You tip as a gratuity, that's how they get paid. Like servers, there's no mistake about it.
Yeah.
That's how they get paid.
Yeah.
Now, when you're at a lunch counter or something, that's a little bit different. They're not as reliant.
No.
But it does help.
Absolutely.
Now, let's go into the when.
Okay.
We did the how. We did the why. Let's go into the when do you tip. And this is very important. What's the difference between a tip and a gratuity?
Oh, that's a great question.
Great question. A tip is something that you do ahead of time in appreciation. So we use the word tip a lot across the board. A gratuity is what you do after in gratitude.
And our business is more of gratuity.
In our business, in our scenario, it's more of a gratuity.
Yes.
You perform the service, And based on how well that service has been performed and your overall satisfaction and the price of the check and all that stuff, that's
Where the gratuity lies.
Where the gratuity lies. And so that's the difference between the tip and the gratuity. And if you think about it like this, if you walk up to a counter and there's a service person and you have an interaction with them and you tip them a buck or two, that's the tip.
Yeah.
This is something you do beforehand. And then your services, you have a great time with someone and things like that, you give them the gratuity. And the situation where one is more like, because we're going to use a scale of 10 to 25%. Okay. So that's the full scale. Other times we're just going to be throwing like $1, $5, something like that in different situations. So we went through the how, we went through the why and the when. Let's round it out with the who, what, and where.
Okay.
All right.
I like
that would give you a good
idea, a base.
A good base.
Yeah.
A good starting point. We're not the end all be all.
No.
We're gonna really be really knowledgeable on some parts of it. Mm-hmm. And a little thin because we haven't worked
in other spots in those same situations.
I've never been a barber.
No.
So they may have a different idea
of a tip scale.
Of a tip scale than what I would. Mm-hmm. So then there's nothing wrong with asking a barber. I've asked people, I'd like to tip you, and they say no, it's not necessary. I tried to tip a guy at remember when my license plate got ripped off?
Yeah.
And I went to the Hannah's True Value, I think it's
okay. Oh yeah. I remember I was there.
Yeah.
And then you went back.
And I went back.
Yes.
And the guy was so helpful.
He was great.
He was so helpful, and he even put the license plate on
everything for you.
Yeah. And I tried to tip him, and he said no. But it's not like that's a situation where you tip. When you're in doubt, you just be generous because we're all humans.
You were paying it forward at that point.
I was paying it forward. I want to let him know that I appreciated
his service.
It's not like I'm paying him. Hey, I'm going to pay you to put this on.
No, you just were. He went above and beyond, and you were like, "Thank you."
Well said. Well said. Everyone carries around credit cards, and so that might make it a little bit tougher.
Yes.
To tip someone. They're not. We don't all carry around
We're not in the age of cash anymore. Cash used to be king. A lot of people carried around cash, but now we're more in the age of the digital realm, and it's more card or your phone or whatever you're using.
Exactly.
At this point,
you're not going to be like, oh, let me Venmo you. If I have some money at the table, try to ask you.
Is it Venmo?
You have Cash App? Listen, stop it. I say that to say, if especially when you go on vacation, you really want to prepare yourself with cash.
Yes.
I know you want to be safe with the credit card, but you don't have to carry thousands of dollars of cash on you.
No, you told me the other day about the guy who carried all fives around with him.
Carries all fives around.
On vacation.
When I go on vacation, I carry ones and fives because I'm the credit card guy.
Yeah.
I like credit cards. I like everything they have to offer me, the security, the points, and things like that. But
there's times you need cash.
There's times you need cash, a lot. So ones and fives, I stack up on those when I go on vacation so I could just, hand them out. The where, seems like everyone has a tip jar or a line for tip and things like that. Some justified, some not. It's money. People are always going to ask you for money. Doesn't mean that you got to give it to them.
Absolutely.
Now, you had a situation when your dad asked you a question.
Okay.
Talk to me about that.
So my dad was at like a sandwich shop. We'll just call it Subway or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, he's been going. And now, since the pandemic, it's almost been automatic when when you run your card, it asks you to leave a tip. Mm-hmm. Do you want to leave, this, that, and the third? And before, like you said, they had the tip jar where you just drop some change or drop some money in and, they would kind of whatever they did with it.
Yeah.
Now it's automatically asking. And he was like, well, I don't feel like I should have to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, you're right. I agree with him. I go, it is something, it's a gesture more than it is a requirement.
Now, they, at the count, I'm assuming, they get paid and then, sure, tips are going to be on top of that
Yeah.
and things like that. When I have that situation with the POS and it says, tip, and it's always like, 20%,
Yeah.
15%, things like that, or other, and it to me it's cumbersome. I hit no and I pull cash out of my pocket.
Me too.
every
I'm the
time.
same way.
So that's the way that I get around it. Now, I always play in my mind when I go to Permani's and I get pizza, and those are my peeps.
Cash only, too.
I used to go there all the time.
Yeah.
It's a question about the tip. Do you ever watch Seinfeld? And
I've seen Seinfeld, but I don't know if I'm seeing the Zach's episode, but we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it.
George goes to the pizzeria and he puts a tip in, but the guy turns and he doesn't know if the guy saw, he knows the guy didn't see him tip.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he's thinking, the guy turns around and he's thinking, the guy didn't see me tip. He thought I never tipped because he's grabbing his stuff and he's going. And he's talking to Jerry about it. He's kind of upset because he doesn't want to be that guy.
Exactly.
He goes back to the thing and then he starts waving the dollar and then the guy turns around and he says the same thing again. He puts it in the thing. So he tries to take his tip out.
And he gets caught?
Yeah. You steal it from me? You steal it from me? I break your face. And he gets nothing and he has to go. But his intentions was to take it out so when the guy turns around to put it in so he could see it. You tip from the heart, but I kind of share that sentiment.
Right? You want your tip to be seen. You want them to know that, hey, I appreciate you. Okay, so especially when you do it, you want them to see that you appreciate them, not it be a dead gesture.
I feel like a dirtbag wanting to be seen to tip. I don't care that you know what I tipped.
No, I don't care about that. Just the idea that you're doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the tip jar, it's kind of anonymous. You know what I mean? I've since let go of it. I don't really go like this. Hey, I'm gonna tip you. No, I don't do that. But I have that.
I'm not, till this day, I still try to, like, let's say if I'm at like a Jack's, something like that. I like them to see that, hey, this is for you. It's not, this is for them, not like, and it's not. Like
I feel bad. I do. I feel.
Why?
Because it feels opposite. It's part of my being says the act of giving
is selfless. I understand.
Yes, that is it. You let go of how it occurs. Otherwise, you let go of what they do with it. It's like when we go to the street corner and the guy. I don't give him the dollar and say, only spend this on Juji fruits or whatever. You can buy a crack with it for all I care.
You give him the dollar and keep moving.
Yeah, you give him the dollar and keep it moving. And the tip should be the same, but it feels different to me.
And I don't care what they do with the tip, like you're saying. But I want them, but the same bum you give, he grabbed that tip from you. Man, he grabbed that dollar from you. So
that's a great point.
He got it, okay? You just want them to know that came from you.
I get what you're saying, and it wasn't my hesitancy isn't about what they do with it in the case of a tip. The hesitancy is I should be giving regardless of if I'm seen or not.
No, true.
That is where it comes from. So I've since married it. Like if you didn't think I tipped, then
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
My
matter.
conscience is clear.
Now, the tough part in answering the question for your dad, that's how I would do it. I would decline on the thing, and then, if you don't have any money, then you got to go and press other, put the dollar in, or $2 or $3 or whatever you want to say. And what you tip, it depends on the bill, it depends on the place, and it depends on what you feel.
Yeah.
And you could always ask them, what's a standard tip? I'm going to tell you, most people aren't going to sit there and tell you $50, $40. They're going to really tell you what the information that you need to know. So don't be coy. If you're really curious, and I'm curious, I've asked people, like workmen that come through, can I tip you? Do you get tips? Do you take tips? Because I don't always know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's my biggest advice. Two things. Err on the side of generosity. And don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Because they're going to know more than a lot of people. It's appreciated, but it's not necessary. Things like that. And that might ease your mind if you don't have the money for a tip and things like that. Now, takeout versus full service restaurants. When you're at like takeout versus a counter service, there tends to be, when we talk about the scale from 10% to 25%, you're going to go more from 18 and up. If you had terrible service, 15%.
Yeah, this is sitting down.
This is sitting down. This is full service we're talking about. Now, if it's counter service, you're going to be more on the early side of that, 10 to 15%. Because you're doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
You're getting your own sodas. You're taking your own plates. You're discarding your own garbage, basically, effectively, bussing your own tables and things like that. So that is more of a tip. You're appreciating them being there.
Doing their job, showing up, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You're appreciating them as people.
You're appreciating them as people.
Yes.
Very, and the service that they're providing, because sometimes maybe they may be underpaid and you really just want to brighten them up a little bit. That's how I look at that. Now and that is more like, takeaway. There's so many, services out there.
Yeah.
So like to go, for instance, somebody's putting that stuff together.
Absolutely.
Some people don't pay on to go because they think they're just paying the price and things like that. You really should be tipping on to goes as well, because some places the bartender has to ring that up. And as the bartender rings it up, it's on their sales.
Yeah, it's still a part of their system.
And then if it's on their sales, they have to tip out on it. They shouldn't have to, but sometimes
we know how the system works.
We know how the system works. So you should be tipping on a to-go. Are you going to be tipping 25%? No, because you didn't really get that service. But 10 to 15%.
Yeah, all day. I'm tipping 10 to 15% all day.
In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
on takeout. Absolutely.
On takeout.
Yeah.
What about delivery drivers? And
just
delivery?
like how you said earlier, I want to know, did that delivery charge go to you or does it go to them? And I'm still going to leave a little extra, but I want to know in general, like if they're, because obviously the delivery charge is not, it doesn't add up. It's usually like a set number. What I've seen recently.
Sometimes it's a percentage or whatever the case may be. It's really challenging now because, delivery's expensive now.
It's ridiculous.
You get a takeout. I might as well
it's
put some clothes on and go right to the restaurant and sit down.
Cheaper to go eat.
No doubt. It's almost cheaper to eat.
Yeah.
Sit down and eat.
Absolutely.
I have looked at some stuff and canceled and been like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Because the service fee, the delivery fee, and I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so as an end user, it's really...
Because there's so many third-party delivery services out there, and they have to get their cut on top of paying the restaurant, on top of, and we get it. Like I said, it was huge during the pandemic. It made sense because we had no other options, and we still needed to eat.
And the restaurant is paying these delivery apps a part of their profits and things like that. So I understand that. And it's really a marketing thing as well, because it's really challenging for them to get away from that. If you're not on there, you kind of getting to be invisible.
Yes.
Because you need to have, how many times have you called directly?
You don't really.
You don't really. You jump on the app. I'm
a direct kind of person, me personally. But the average person, yeah, you're right. They're jumping right on Grubhub. They're jumping right on, DoorDash. They're jumping right on Uber Eats, and they're finding what they like within there.
Yeah. I try, the places that I'm very familiar with, I make an effort to call directly if it's pickup. Because a lot of places just don't have delivery. It's going to be pickup. So if in the case of delivery, I'm doing the Grubhubs and the things like that. But when it's pickup, I try to go directly so they don't have to pay out.
The cut, you can cut out the middleman.
The cut, you cut out the middleman. You cut out that beast. And so what about salon services? Let's get into the services when we're doing this thing.
Salons, barbershops, all
Salons, barbershops. Now, again, you can ask, but when I used to go to the barber, it didn't cost that much. Now haircuts are up there.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I think, I remember my mom would give me, because I've been cutting my hair for years. Okay. But I remember when I used to go to the barber, haircuts like $10 or whatever. So we would leave like $2 or $3 tip, which is 25%.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it wasn't, remember, it also wasn't so, now haircuts $20. I mean, so we leave $5. Sure, I get that, so $25 for your haircut.
I believe for me, it's going to be about 20%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And women, their hair costs a lot. So I don't know how that works for them.
I think it works about the same. I don't know. You can let me know. Reach out to me at the Modern Waiter Podcast. And I mean, at the Modern Waiter Podcast on Instagram or the Modern Waiter at Gmail. You can always leave a comment.
Yeah, because we want to know. We
want to know. We're educating ourselves.
Yeah, we're trying to learn.
I'm advising 20%.
Okay.
That's what I'm advising because it's a relationship.
It is. And
you're trying to keep this person in your graces.
You definitely have a relationship with your barber or your hairstylist. Because, and I know people that they're really good friends with them and they hang out with them on a regular basis.
Yep.
So I can totally see it's almost the same idea as what we're doing as servers.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're providing a service, but they're really, they're cutting your hair.
Yeah.
That's
personal.
That's personal.
That is personal.
That's a personal relationship. Okay.
And they know how you want it, how you like it. They're pampering you. They're giving you the thing.
You go back to them, you get that shampoo. You get, I don't know.
That's right.
You get all these little extras.
Think about it.
You go to the right person.
Maybe sometime in the future you could press a button and stick your head in the thing and the machine does it.
But that ain't happening right now.
But that's not happening right now.
In the near future.
And this person is asking you how you want things. You have that. You're picking out color. You're leaning into their expertise. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like what we're talking about, the 20-25%.
Yeah.
You have that similar relationship in my opinion. Now, if the plumber comes by and you ask him how much this is, and he says it's $150, I'm giving him $150.
But that's, because he's, in my mind, that's already included. Like he's taking his profit is the tip.
You ask me how much, and I'm gonna give it to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, if I had like my sprinkler system going in, same like a big plumber company, and I see these guys coming, they're digging ditches and they're laying the pipe and they're fixing this and they're doing that, and I might feel like going out there and handing them $5 each or whatever because they're in the hot Florida sun. I might do that because that's just my appreciation and my generosity. But when it comes to like a service like that, like my roof or my this and that, you're gonna get what you ask me.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna.
Because you've already marked it up. You've already done what you're supposed to do. I'm sure the average plumber, those kind of things, where those kind of services, they've already made their markup. They're happy.
Correct.
They wouldn't tell you a price if they weren't coming out for it.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why.
Even like when I DJ. When I DJ, I name a price that works for me. I don't expect a tip because my price is my price.
Okay.
That's my time. Okay. You're paying for the equipment. You're paying for my gas. When all that's included into my price.
Okay. What about when you do a wedding? You get tips.
No, I don't. I mean, it's from the guests that are there, but not from the patron itself.
I didn't tip you.
I don't remember. Well, you're my friend. That was years ago. Okay, what are you talking?
Next time I get married, I'm tipping you. We just never. So when we went to Orlando recently, I didn't do it this time. But I usually tip the front desk.
Yeah.
I usually give them some money. Mm-hmm. And that's an appreciation thing. I know they're standing there.
You didn't give her a handshake when you checked her?
I didn't.
Okay, but I saw you left money in the room, definitely for the maid.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
When you go to a hotel, there's the bellhop. Mm-hmm. What's that? $2-3 a bag?
Okay, yeah.
I would guess.
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
$2, $3? I don't know.
If you got a bunch of bags, maybe like 5 or 10 total, and just you can round it up.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends. If it's just one person, I'm carrying my own bag.
Yeah.
But if it's a family, like you wanna give them something because they're giving you that thing.
They gave you their time.
They give you their time, and they're working.
They're working.
Yeah. Now, the front desk, it's not necessarily curry favor. It's just, and it has worked in that situation. I've gotten drink tickets or free parking or free Wi-Fi, room upgrade or whatever. But it's not that clear exchange, but it can be if you're nice.
Yeah.
And you ask, hey, are there any upgrades available and things like that. But I tend to slide,
Yeah, a little something here and there.
You take $10, $10 to $20 sometimes, depending on how long I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
And I do, in my mind, they're going to be there most likely when I'm calling to ask for things. Mm-hmm. And they're
going to remember you.
Yeah, it's that relationship that I want to build. Mm-hmm. When I'm leaving, they give me good advice of where to go and things like that. I think because I did it because it was a one night stay. It wasn't in that mode. I didn't, but normally if I'm staying 2, 3, 4 days, I'll throw down and and start the relationship there. And so with the maid service, did we talk about that?
We dabbled, but not really. No.
So the maid service, that depending on, I mean.
It's not crazy. We leave. I think we leave normally between like 5 and 10. Like just
a night. For me, it's per night.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, it's about $3, $4, $5 a night.
Yeah.
Depending on the level.
Like if we were like when we go to Vegas, we usually like we're there for like 4 days, like a long weekend. We leave like $20 a night.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's some nuance to it. You know, if you're there for a few days and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with cruises. Mm-hmm. You gotta tip the steward. You got to tip everybody. There's the maitre d'.
But all those things are on there. I mean, all those things are normal. Like, well, not normal. Well, yeah, maitre d's are huge though.
Maitre d's are huge. They can really take care of you.
Yeah,
and they really
they're there for your experience.
Yes. Yeah. You tip the maitre d'.
That's the people that usually going to go see.
Yes.
You give him that handshake. He's making sure.
You're
good to go, or she, or whoever it is.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So what about your cab drivers?
I tip, when I'm in a car, any kind of car service, Uber, cab driver, I'm tipping 15 to 20% all day.
Okay.
Yeah. Even like, or what I liked what you did, and I started doing it myself, was instead of putting it on the app, I gave them cash.
Yeah.
And I felt like they appreciated it a little bit more.
Yeah, I give cash. In the app, it's sometimes I forget because I'm going places. I'm just, I know they have that reminder, but I'm just not in that mode sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm being open, I'm not going to tell you that I've tipped in every situation and all across the board. And I have like,
we're just throwing money around. No.
Yeah.
We're just being honest. Like, hey, there's situations where this is what I usually do.
Yes. And my goal is to be top of mind, to be able to pay it forward. Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Tipping is paying it forward in the end.
Exactly.
You're paying it forward.
Exactly.
You're paying for a service, but in the end, you're paying it forward because, like you said, that karma, that energy, that whatever you want to call it, you want it to be positive, and you want to have a light on yourself to where you're always in a positive light. And I think that's really it.
Boom, boom. Because when you're in that lack mentality, that shrink, that I'm gonna withhold, or you're not gonna, it only hurts you.
It only hurts you.
It only hurts your whole karmic energy, your whole system, and that's less that's going to be coming to you. When
you give, you always give back.
Exactly. You get what you give.
100%.
So in my mind, I'm preparing myself to be able to, to give. That's why, I'm at the corner. I don't give everybody, obviously, because there's how many corners on your way.
Yeah.
But I try to give some money to people. And I used to. It was hot down in Florida. I used to carry, water in the car and give them the water. They don't want the doggone water.
No, they want the money.
Yeah, they want the money. So I just decided to give them what they want.
Yeah.
What about the valet?
I think a valet is pretty standard. I mean, I'm usually, I don't know, like $5. Mm-hmm. For me, whether it's free or you have to pay for it, it's usually like either a $5 handshake. No more. I mean, most of the time, no more than $5. But about my clean is about if I've had a couple bucks on me, I'm not mad at giving like $3 or $4 either. You know, what I mean?
I'm $3 to $5.
Yeah.
Because if I have to pay, and then
pay again.
Yeah, I'm like
I'm giving you something. If I'm paying, I'm giving you something for sure. I mean, like,
if it was free, I'm giving you more.
If it's free, I'm giving you, like I said, like $5. A $5 handshake per car, to me, I'm sure they're doing okay.
And I could be wrong.
I could be totally wrong.
You could tell me I'm wrong. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
This is one that I'm gonna let you guys go on this one, and this one is, I believe, service specific. How do you tip on a comp meal or a comp bill?
Oh, you should always leave a little extra.
But specifically,
I mean, I can't tell people how to tip, but if my meal's comped,
I'm not saying telling people. I'm just saying
if I go out,
how do you do it?
And there's not an issue. Like, let's say I'm out and I know the manager or my meal's comp. Like, we know a lot of people in this industry. I'm leaving. Like, unless the check was outrageous, I'm still leaving. I'm leaving a lot. I'm leaving a good handshake. Like, there's no question in their mind that I left. They were happy. Like that, we were happy that person came in.
True. Now, there's nuance to it.
Like here, perfect example. I went out, I had like $100 and maybe $20 check. I left, and it got comped. A friend of mine, I left the server an $80 tip.
Okay, good. In most situations, when I get the whole bill comped, I'm leaving what the bill would have been. With the exception of if it starts to get over like 100, 150.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then you take the blessing and then you pass it on a little bit. You know
exactly.
what I mean? Pretty much like what you did. I think $80 is a great tip. And so that's my goal, is to be able to pay out more. You don't have to do the whole thing, but you really want to pay out more on a comp check. You don't leave less. You don't leave what it. I mean, at the bare minimum, 25% on what the bill
at the bare
would have
minimum.
been. At the bare minimum. So there's really a challenge when you get a comp check, but you don't have any idea what the check was.
Yes.
You
kind of want to see what the check is.
You kind of want to see what the check is. So I think we covered a broad base here.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and if we're missing anything, we can always maybe revisit this show with maybe somebody else. But we'll but I think we covered everything the way it should be. You went to services, we went to our business, we went to the counter. We covered a lot, and I know this question has been asked by not even just my dad. I'm sure other people have had this question in their mind.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about the show. We thought the show would be good for the general audience, not just people in our business.
True, and I really do believe that asking goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Being generous goes a long way, and you can't fail when you ask.
No,
because I don't understand why people are so afraid at the tipping part. You know, when servers drop the check and they got to run away. I'm sorry, I'm not afraid.
No,
you know,
you got a question? I got you.
I prefer I perform the service, and I'm okay with you signing the check with me there. I'm not going to stare you down.
No.
But I got my gun out.
And with that, we will wrap it up, B.
Let us know in the comments what your tipping disagreements with us, if we ticked you off or anything like that. And you could always reach out to us. We're grateful for you joining us. We do this for you each and every week. I'm Marlon Joseph, the Modern Waiter.
I'm Daniel Villain. Subscribe, people.
We see you next time.
Later.
People are the same in the game. It's just the currency. People catch their credit effect.